Hey, hello, how are you, everyone? It is good to see you and it is good to be seen by you. Welcome to the show. I am the one and only Bill Sylvie, aka the Dungeon Delver, coming to you live, loud and clear from the swamps of sunny Central Florida. How the heck is everybody? I'm glad you're here. Hello, Thomas Smith, Daniel Rowan, Jorge Uribe, good to see you. We're gonna have some fun tonight. And if you would like to always be part of the fun, if you haven't done this already, let me ask you a favor. Would you do this for me? Would you do me a solid? Would you click the subscribe button and click the bell icon for notifications about this and all of our other live streams as we get ready to have them? We have newsy videos. When news breaks, we'll fix it. Um, and all kinds of stuff that we like to do around this YouTube channel. So if you have been remiss, or maybe it's just something that you've been meaning to do, and you're kind of wondering, should I do it now? Well, now would be a good time. Click the subscribe button, click the bell icon for notifications. It would be super duper helpful. And if you like this video, if you're watching this video in the future, because let me tell you what, watching it in the past, that would be a really neat trick. But if you're watching this video in the future, give it a thumbs up and leave us a comment down below for the algorithm. But anyhow, how the hell is everyone? We have got a good show for you tonight. Permission granted, Mr. of Mutilation. We have got a heck of a show for you tonight because I'm always glad when my co-host can wheedle some time out of his incredibly busy schedule and come on over and talk to us about cool stuff, play games with us, hang out with us. And that, as you might have been spoiled by the thumbnail, by the description, and by my video title, is exactly what's happening tonight. And I'm pretty happy about that. So Kyle's in the green room. He's having some pistachios. He's washing it down with some Hennessy, which is very expensive these days. So I shan't keep him waiting long. That stuff doesn't grow on trees. So we're going to get going there in just a minute. But of course, we have to do the needful. And I got to talk to you about tonight's sponsor. Tonight's sponsor is me. That's right. Tonight's show, is brought to you by myself and my latest project, the CROM. That's right. The character record organization manager for first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. It slices, it dices, it does everything you need to control 1 or 1,000 characters, level them up, drain levels, age them, call them new names. You can do dual class, multi-class. All the player's handbook standard races are here. Buy them gear and outfit them with said gear. You can save in HTML or in text. You've got a wonderful text user interface here that is rich with features that you will find in no other first edition character creator. I think it is a pretty darn awesome piece of software. And if you think so too, you can ping me on social media and it can be yours for a mere $25 US, payable via your PayPal pay system. So I hope that that's something you might consider purchasing. And it is fully compatible with Windows 10 and Windows 11. A Macintosh version is in the works, but I don't want to give away too much too soon about that. We'll talk about that at the appropriate time. So that is tonight's sponsor, and I really appreciate it. Thomas Smith says he might become a sponsor, maybe. Bum, bum, bum. Well, that's pretty exciting. So looking forward to that. Now, speaking of exciting, speaking of things that excite, we have got a pretty exciting evening ahead of us here. And to that end, let me just say that our guest tonight is my co-host. And if you haven't watched the live streams before, if you only know us through our newsy content, you may not be aware of this, but I have the smartest and the best looking co-host of all the 5-night-a-week classic TTRPG live streams. And I'll kill on that hill. But that's enough about me. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, let me please present a fellow who had to turn his webcam the other way around because he's all the way down in Australia. Put your hands together for the one and only Viking Hat GM himself, everybody. Welcome, Kyle.
G'day. I like that, the best looking and the smartest of all the 5-day-a-week TTRPG podcasts. I like that because it reminds me recently when I looked up the records for my age and weight class in a powerlifting federation recently, and they were blank. So I could go and I could set probably not world, but Australian records in my age and weight class because they got like 5-year groups. You know, like regular lifting, it goes up to 40 years old, and that's Masters 1, and then 50s is Masters 2, and so on. But this, they've got like up to 30 is open, and then they've got 30 to 35 sub-masters 1, they call it, then 35 to 40 sub-masters 2, and they go. So we've got these 5-year age groups plus the weight classes. So you could just, like, if you think your lifting isn't that great, just like wait 5 years and fill in a blank going, and then, oh, look, I'm a record holder.
There you go. There you go. I'm reminded of a boys club that I belonged to back when I was in high school. There were 8 of us, and we had a sports field day, and I placed in every event. I got at least second place because 2 of the guys were the officiants, and the other 6 of us were the participants. So it was a hell of a weekend for sports in the Sylvie household, I can tell you. We have an important question here, Kyle. I'm going to give my opinion, but I definitely want to hear yours. Wave of mutilation. Who wins in a fight between Conan and Slain? I will say that it is the guy selling them ale afterwards. You know, when they pick themselves up and spit out a chipped tooth and rub a sore jaw and you know.
You're reminding me of my son commented that the other day. He said how in 19th century Victoria, when we had the gold rush, the guys who really got rich were a few lucky gold guys, but most of them didn't get anything. The guys who got well off were the Chinese merchants, because the Chinese guys came along to pan for gold here in Victoria.
Oh, yeah.
But racism of the time wouldn't let them. So they said, right, we're here already. We may as well try to make some money. Okay, what do people need? Shovels and picks. Because the thing is, if you were a gold miner, if you were successful, you were rich. If you were unsuccessful, you were broke. But whether you were successful or not, you still needed a pick and a shovel. So right. The Chinese guys go, then we don't have to rely on being successful being lucky, because whether the successful gold miners need picks and shovels, the unsuccessful gold miners need picks and shovels. So let's just sell picks and shovels. And they had market gardens and stuff as well, because they all need to eat. So they did that, and they did very well.
Yeah.
Thus increasing the racism, of course, because you're successful, so you must be bad.
Well, let me tell you about this fellow from Poland who came to the California territory in the 1800s, and he sucked. He could not find a scrap of gold when guys were pulling it out of the rivers and hillsides by the bagful. But you know what he had, Kyle? He had a shitload of burlap and denim, and he knew how to use needle and thread. And when he started making pants that would hold it, because a lot of these guys that showed up from the East, from the United States, they were wearing suits They had vests and shirts, and they'd go out and they'd work for a day, and their clothes would disintegrate in that kind of work. So he took these bolts of canvas and all this other hardy cloth he had, and he set aside his pan, his pick, and his shovel, and he started making clothes. I would be willing to bet that neither you nor anyone else watching this show could name a single 49er from the Gold Rush era in California, but all of us the world over know who Levi Strauss is.
Yep.
So there you go. But anyway, Kyle, it's good to see you again, man. How are you?
Cheers. Good.
Excellent.
I'm now, I'm now one of the strongest guys in the gym that I go to. Same.
Excellent.
Because everyone else is just walking on the treadmills or whatever. So
well, I
have to sneak the chalk in. I'm like a gamer sneaking the hot snacks into the game store. Like a lot of game stores won't allow hot food in.
Yeah.
The gamer sneaks the hot food into the game store, and I sneak the chalk into my Globo gym. I put it in my hands and everything. Me, I wouldn't care if I got in trouble with the management or whatever, but I figure it create some problems for my trainer if I'm throwing chalk around with gay abandon and making a big mess. They'll end up hassling him, and I don't want to cause trouble for him. So I put it in my bag. So I'm like the gamer, with the McDonald's in his game bag, and just sort of looking out for the manager and going,
yeah.
What, you've never done it?
Kyle, why do you keep shoving your face into your dice bag? I'm looking for my favorite D20.
You've never had to do that in a game store?
No, actually, most of the game stores I've been to were all the game stores I've been to were very open to having food in there.
Food, yeah, but not hot food. Not hot food. Maybe it's just Melbourne because of the popularity of curries and stuff. So
that could be. Just eat a hole right there your gaming table. Just wipe out a deck of Magic cards with a single bit of spilled tahini sauce. So we're talking about yes, but. Last week we talked about that, and we went through the laborious. Kyle, I got to tell you, my next software project, I may have to code up a character generator for yes, but because I don't know if I've got that kind of programming skills, but
yeah, well, I think it took longer to talk about the rules than to write them.
Right. So, let me just save some notes here real quick. But for our audience's sake, while I'm doing this real quick, bring us back up to speed real quick on what you're doing with yes, but.
Okay, so it was a little kind of thought experiment, if you like, of how much can I get out of a single D6. I had originally planned to do just a single D6 for the Conflict RPG, but I found the only way that could work is if you were just making a whole series of dice rolls. So, first roll to hit, then roll for damage, then roll for location, blah, blah, blah. And it just, you can do a whole series of dice rolls, or you can do one bigger dice roll. Do you get your information out of, say, 6 different rolls? Or do you get 3 good bits of information out of one roll? So there's no right answer. That's just a game design thing. But I wanted it to be relatively quick in play, and I've never liked that sort of thing where you roll to hit and then they roll to dodge, and then you roll to see if you get through their armor. Oh, but now we've got to roll hit location because you've got armor here, but you don't have it there, and it becomes less exciting. By the time you find out if your character lived or died, you no longer care. So just thinking, how much can I get out of a single D6? So I went to, it's a little bit Thespy, that master result chart. It's the thing that when they have the completely free-form role-playing, you know, you can have like virtually no character traits at all and just go, oh, does this work? And it's got 6 levels of results. Most game systems will have at least 2 levels. Either it works or it doesn't, yes or no. Some game systems will have critical successes or critical failures. So yes, it works, and you get an extra bonus result. Or no, it doesn't work, and you break your sword or you stab yourself or whatever. So there's 4 different results. But there is a 5th and a 6th possibility with a yes, but, and no, but, where no, it doesn't work, but it's not a complete disaster. Or yes, it does work, but there might be a problem with that. If you do that, then you get a bit more out of a single D6 roll. The disadvantage of that is that it can require a bit of GM interpretation. That's always the thing, you know, that like, what was it, Matt Finch's old school primer? Talking about rules versus rulings.
Mm-hmm.
The fewer rules you have, the more rulings you have to make. And of course, with sufficiently complex rules, they'll contradict each other, so you have to make more rulings too. But there's a sort of an optimal level, and what you consider optimal depends on your personal preferences, but it will also be your circumstances. So this is something I've been discussing with trainer friends, looking at my professional area here, trainer friends lately, that the training environment will influence your training philosophy. So a simple example that I hope that people who aren't into fitness will still be able to get. So my own trainer uses what's called RPE, rate of perceived exertion, where you just see how hard is it for you today. So can we slap some more weight on the bar, or do we have to go a bit easier, like that? Now he can do that because he's one-on-one. So he can watch the bar speed. He can see if I walk in all and looking depressed, or if I walk in all energetic, right? So he can adjust on the day. So that works in that environment. But my environment is I have 6 people in here at once. I can't do that with 6 people at once.
Okay.
So I have to write them a program which I know is really easy at the start, and it'll only be challenging in the last couple of weeks. So now both of our approaches work, but they work best in that particular environment. So your training environment will influence your training philosophy. I think it's similar with gaming. The game environment that you have will influence your gaming philosophy of what is a good game design. So there's a big difference, for example, in the that dream campaign that everyone has, which you know, the same 6 players for like 30 years, and this grand thing where you go from 1st to 18th level and you end up fighting gods or something, or establishing kingdoms.
Right.
There's a difference between that and what I've had in more recent years, which is going to a game store and having an open game table, having 2 or 3 players I already know, and then having another 2 or 3 players who just walk past and then sit down and start playing. So the sort of rules that will work for that grand, epic, decades-long campaign don't really work if the person just sits down and starts playing.
First of all, I do agree with you. I mean, there's always outliers. You know, I think you can have people who are so dedicated to a thing. Like I've known people who've spent a day making Rollmaster characters. Now you would think that all our feelings about Rollmaster aside, that those rules would be endemic to vast epic campaigns that span continents and possibly even dimensions. I've known people who've done that. You know, session 1. Hours making characters, because honestly, nobody understands how to make Rollmaster characters. Session 2, the first session. Session 3 never happens. You never see these people again. Never, or if you do, they've changed their minds. They want to play something else. And on the flip side, I've known people who've kept Ghostbusters, the RPG, who've kept Ghostbusters, the RPG campaigns going for a couple of years, which is, when you think about the material, that's a pretty vast amount of time for that.
Yeah. So I don't.
But there's I'm not saying that to to contradict what you're saying, just that there's always outliers.
Yeah, there's always outliers, right? Like if I really, really wanted to, I could use RPE, but I would have to be watching every single work set that they did.
Right.
They come in, I would have to be right next to them, every single work set. And it doesn't work for novices because novices think everything is a 10 out of 10 effort. So some of the more experienced lifters I've got would be able to do it on their own. And like, they might have a max lift of 100, whatever, pounds, kilograms, doesn't know what the lift is. They've got 100. And people tend to err on the side of wuss or meathead, right? So there'll be the ones who do the 60% of that and they'll go, oh, it's so hard. And then others who do 80% of that and go, oh, this is pretty easy, I can do more. And then others do like 90% and go, oh, I could do 105% this time. So they tend to err on the side of wuss or meathead. And it's the job of the coach to sort of steer them on the middle way, because if you go on the side of wuss, you never get gains. If you go on the side of meathead, you injure yourself eventually. So you kind of steer that middle way. So if I really wanted to, I could make RPE work here. And if my trainer really wanted to, he could use my method and just okay, on May 23rd, you're going to be lifting this. And then on May 26th, you're going to be lifting that, and be able to put it all out. He could do that. But so that's why I say the training environment influences the training philosophy. It doesn't determine it, but it influences it. Likewise, I think the gaming environment influences your gaming philosophy. So the Ghostbusters guys, they're probably not a bunch of players who like looking up charts. They're not those players. You get the players who will message you between sessions going, oh, do I have space in my pack for another flask of oil or whatever? They're into all those little finicky details.
Right.
I would expect that Ghostbusters group probably isn't got many very players like that. So they're more, that's why I say the gaming environment influences the gaming philosophy. So I've had more experience of games where people just come and go. So I tend to look for games where they can just start the character in 10 minutes and go ahead and play, and where the characters are a bit more disposable or replaceable, if you like, because the player might not come back next week. There'll be this core of 3 or so players, and then there'll be another bunch who drift in. With the Classic Traveller campaign in particular, I had everything from, I think, 3 to 10 players at the game table on any one night. And it averaged to like 5, and then there were like 3 guys who were always there, or there for almost all of it. So I tend to favor systems. I tend to favor systems where you can just sit down and start playing, and they're relatively light. And someone who's never seen the rules before can figure out how to play as they play them in 15 minutes. There's always going to be somebody who like the system could be called D20, and they'll go, oh, which die do I roll? So there's always going to be someone like that. But I want it to be relatively simple. So that's what I went for. So how much can I get out of a single D6? And there was that chart. If you have the skill, you get +1. If you don't have the skill, it's just 0. Like, anyone can give something a go, because that ties into my philosophy, which I take from every game, that anyone can do just about anything given time and effort. Having the skill means that you can do it well and or quickly. It's like the home handyman stuff. This gym door or whatever, it's copped a lot of rain. Some of the wood's swelled. It's starting to come apart. At some point in the next few months, it's going to have to be replaced. Now, I can do it. I can go down to the hardware store and get myself a new door and pull this off and then put that on and screw it. And if I'm uncertain about how to hang it and make it completely straight and all the rest, I can watch YouTube videos and everything. But it would probably take me a day or two, and it would involve lots of like hammer hitting the thumb and swearing and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll probably just pay a guy.
See, that is the philosophy that drove me to switch to a lawn guy. As I had a riding mower. It's just at the start of every season, after it had sat from October through to March or whenever, it would need maintenance. I'd have to get on my hands and knees and screw with the engine and do a bunch of stuff and go buy new filters and seals and everything. And I just got to the point where I was like, how much is this costing me every season? Because I got the rider for free, and it was going to need a new deck soon. And I was just like, yeah, no. Here's a young man in his 30s. He's got little kids to support and everything. He's doing my neighbor's lawn. Hey, how much you charge for this lot? That sounds perfect. All right, I'll see you every 2 weeks from April to September.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So my thing is, you can do just about anything. I mean, there's specialist stuff you can't do. You can't stick me behind the stick of an aircraft and expect me to do anything useful. And I call them the specialist skills. Skills that are usually quite a specialty, like you're an aircraft pilot. You can't fly everything from a Cessna to a F-16. You're trained on particular aircraft or class of them or whatever. So there's specialist skills. Those sorts of skills in other systems you might call it the Hydra skills, with the many heads like craft, science, or whatever. You can't just do, but other things like brawling, like anyone can punch someone in the head, anyone can pick up a rifle and fire it in the general direction of the enemy. Anyone can drive a car in the modern West, and so on. The question is, do they do it well and or quickly? So that's been my GMing philosophy for a long time, regardless of system. Just like if they have time, and the outcome is not really uncertain, don't make them roll. Don't make them roll to drive to work. Don't make them roll to, run down a pier or whatever. Make them roll for things which have an uncertain outcome or where it's really important that they do it well. So that's obviously always combat. You always want to do that well or quickly, or the results are a bit painful.
Right.
But yeah, dramatic moments. And because I've seen too in people's jamming over the years, the tendency to get players to roll for everything. That also means getting any one task and breaking it down into several parts, each of which they have to roll for. So they eventually fail on something, and that gets a bit depressing. So kind of minimize the dice rolling by saying you only roll when the outcome is uncertain and or meaningful. Otherwise, yeah, you do it. Yes, you start the fire, adventurers. Yes, you find a place to shelter, and so on. Find a place to shelter in good weather, doesn't matter. If it's the middle of a blizzard, okay, now it really matters. Now you should roll for it. So I've taken that game philosophy and I've imposed it on people in my game design, because you should always impose your personal philosophy in your own little space of game design or gym.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, it's your space, so let's work as a team and do it my way.
We would not be TTRPGers if it wasn't that way. And for anyone who thinks this is some kind of new philosophy, I challenge you to go out on the web, do a little bit of deep Google search, and find copies of The General, which is Avalon Hill. Prior to the rise of TSR, Avalon Hill had a publication called The General. They were just like that. Tabletop gamers have always been just like that. Early issues of Dragon and the strategic review before it, people sniping each other in the letters, people sniping at the game designers. Why did you do it this way? That's dumb. Just do it this way. Do it my way. I mean, I was making fun of Rollmaster earlier. Rollmaster started because the guys who invented Rollmaster said, we like AD&D, but the way they do combat and the way they do spells is dumb. Here are our house rules. And then they grew their own RPG out of it.
Yeah, RuneQuest started that way too, didn't it?
Yes. Sandy Peterson has said that Greg Stafford looked at how OD&D was and thought it was ridiculous, and that he could do a better job, and that when that is Sandy, got a job at Chaosium, he said, oh, after I played RuneQuest for the first time, I turned my back on D&D. That was it. It made so much more sense than D&D, and that's just the nature of gamers to do that. Impose our will on others. That's how we do. We always have to have a win condition.
That's the story that Raven C.S. McCracken told me about the origins of World of Cinnabar. He said, as with everything, quote from McCracken, I do not make claims as to its veracity. I merely repeat what was claimed to me. He said that he sat down at a game table with Gygax and said, why can't my wizard have a sword? And Gygax said, well, because it's D&D, that's just the way it is. If you want to do differently, go and make your own game. So McCracken did.
There you go.
And whether that incident happened or not, the general philosophy, if you don't like the way something is done, go and do it yourself. I think that's a good philosophy. You should be able to have things how you want at your game table. Now, will anyone else join you at that game table? That's another question.
There's.
I mean, it's like when I started as a trainer. The manager said to me, you can use whatever approach you want to get clients, as long as it's not actually, offensive or injurious or something. Whatever approach you want, and you can train them however you want. You can aim for whatever niche of clients that you want. He says, now, if after 6 months you have just training like 2 people, you may want to reconsider your approach. But if you've got a full stable or full roster, whatever you're doing is right. And so I say the same thing for game table. Your approach just has to work for your game table. Now, I'll still tell you that you're wrong, but in the end, it doesn't matter what I think if all the people at your table are happy, and who cares? When I design games myself, I hope that they'll make more than one table worth of people happy. And the feedback that I've got suggests that they do. And I take more from, less from online feedback and more from if I have an open game table and people sit down and play, do they come back again next week? I think that's kind of the vote of confidence. And so just sit down and have casual play and come back again next week if you want to. That it seems to work for the way I run games and the way I write them as well.
Excellent. See, you've got that's what impresses me about you, Kyle, is you've got a couple of guides and 2 RP, well, 1.5, because Yes Bud is not quite done yet. But you've got enough writing projects under your belt. Me, I just get on the freeway and drive. You're out there building cars and paving your own roads to drive them on. I'm just like, whatever, AD&D. It's the Honda Civic, 4-cylinder engine, 2 doors, air conditioning, CD player, stick, shift. Don't need much more. You're out there designing like light experimental hovercraft to go tooling around in, and I absolutely appreciate that.
Well, it's because I don't have enough real gaming going on. My game design comes up when I'm not writing and when I'm not playing.
I've invited you to play on Monday nights, but unfortunately that's the middle of Tuesday morning, so it's be a little difficult for you. But hey, at least you're not like sitting over on Big Purple or God forbid, Reddit, bitching about Gary Gygax, which is what most people who have RPG experience but too much freaking time on their hands do.
Yeah, if I'm going to waste time, then I may as well have a bit more fun, at least produce something at the end, even if it's just like a 20-page document or something. It's something. It's a bit
and if we could take a tangent for just a quick minute, I don't know, we're gonna do the RPG. Calm down. But I do have to say, one of the, like, you constantly needling me and nudging me. Anybody, if you go back and you watch the old videos on Facebook or the ones that I've uploaded to YouTube, or even my early days on YouTube when it was like a bare wall with a single wooden shelf, and my camera, not much more, when I would kind of do the show such as it was back in the day. Kyle, you, and I don't know if you remember this, but Kyle would often talk to me about things, and like I would come in and do videos and I would step over broken computers, and my Dwarven Forge boxes were often just piled on the floor, and just it was not a good environment. And yeah, things still get very cluttered around here from time to time, but I guess I just, words of encouragement, I got this studio in order.
I thought it was mockery, but anyway.
Well, I mean, mockery can encourage. I think it's that military training instructor vibe you've got going on. But I've taken it from there to the point where I have people who don't regularly watch the show who look at this and are like, "What an incredible looking set you have. I love your set. Is that a green screen?" Because they think all of this is this thing that I put together just for the vibe. And yeah, a lot of it is. A lot of it is stuff that I like people to see, but I see it every day when I come through the door, and then I sit down at my PC over there. I created a better environment, and I think I make better gaming videos, and I play better games because we game on Tuesday, and when you're here, we game on Wednesdays, and we game on Fridays. So
it's better for your mood too. Like when I started this gym here, it was just like half of it. So the thing's like a double garage space, and press something. So it was just half of it. And then like at 8:30 each night, as I was finishing up with my clients, my wife would be sitting outside in a car waiting to drive it in and park it here in the garage. And that wasn't the best environment. When I expanded to the full place, it was better, and got a bit of new equipment. I mean, like, well, I say new, but new to us because it was often secondhand, and kind of filled the place up a bit more. It was better. And then when I took all those red bricks and I painted them white, or me and a couple of the members painted them white, it just made it better. I mean, it's fundamentally the same. Like the barbell still weighs 45 pounds and all the rest. So, the squat's still a squat. Nothing really physically has changed, but it just feels better. So I do think, it just makes a better environment, and it's more positive for people. It's more fun to come in and so on. And so absolutely. I'm sure that the same's true of your little studio area.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to have more people sitting around the table more often, but yeah, definitely for sure. So, as Jorge says, but first, yes. So Kyle, you've had the page.
Okay, says Kyle totally kick-ass, helps disabled vets and non-vets. I'm not sure if I've had any disabled vets. And people with mental disabilities and regular noobs who want to get back to their physical health. People with mental disabilities, that's true. I have even helped vegans here. But yeah.
Don't say the R word. Don't say the R word. Okay. Anyway, yes, vegans. vegans. So so
not much because they're still vegans, but you know, I help them a little bit.
Yeah. It's not true. We trained a lion to eat tofu.
I had one. She had been a vegan, and she reached a point in her training where she decided. I didn't tell her. She decided that if she wanted to go further, she needed to be eating meat. And when she told me this, I said, "Okay, your body will not be used to it. Start with like literally an ounce. Have an ounce a day for like 2 weeks. See how your body reacts. Then make it 2 ounces, and so on." Okay. And she said, "Rightio." And then she went off to the supermarket and bought an entire tray of lamb chops, grilled them all, and ate them all at one sitting, and was horribly sick. So that's not how you do it, boys and girls.
That's not how you do it.
Changes should be small and incremental. Like when for more important matters like role-playing games, if you're going to introduce a house rule, introduce one house rule and see what it does to the game.
Yeah.
If you're going to remove a rule, remove one rule and see what it does to the game. Then wait a bit. Then do another one. Don't do it all at once. It'll be a mess. Just do one little thing at a time, incremental, one level at a time, one hit point roll at a time, and so on.
My dad used to read the Destroyer pulp novels, and the main character starts out as a police officer he is kidnapped and his identity is erased by a secret agent organization in the United States, so secret it consists of 3 people. Excuse me, well, counting him, 4 people, but his sensei, Schuant, spends the first few novels purging the poison of American fast food from his system by rice and vegetables. He's an ancient Korean master of Shinanju, and he's like, it's just rice and vegetables. And he gets fed up and he sneaks out one night because he's learned the stealth system. He sneaks out one night and gets McDonald's and eats a McDonald's, and it almost kills him.
So Great Old One says the master results chart has me thinking start triage. Just saying. There is a reason for that, mate. There's a reason for that. When we go down and we get to, it hasn't rendered very well. Has not rendered well. Yeah, I will have to pull out the original regular document. When we get to okay.
People out there in the audience talking about Remo Williams. Bob Schultz gets it. I see the hamburger has already done its deadly work. Yes, Remo Williams. Jack Photon. How are you, my brother? Good to see you.
All right.
Jack, shoot me an email.
Hadn't rendered properly. All right. So we've got the master result chart over there on the right. The wounding is the same. So when you roll to hit, there we go. When you roll to hit, if you get 4 as a result, you inflict a minor wound. Green on the triage chart. He won't die. Send him away. Go away. You roll 5, you get a yellow wound, a delayed result. Okay, we've got to look after him, but he can wait an hour or so. Red, an incapacitating thing. He's bleeding out. We've got to look after him now. Black, okay, yeah, someone fetch a shovel. That's why it looks like that. So any yes result is some sort of wound, and then it's color-coded as to the result. How quickly do you have to deal with this person who has been injured or wounded? That's, yeah, just your basic triage thing. I've got a similar thing in conflict, but it's not color-coded because that's all black and white. But yeah, I just developed that a bit further here. Basically, all black and red wounds are going to be on the head or trunk. Yes, it is possible to have a lethal wound to your arm or leg or whatever, but it's rare and unusual, and we're interested in the outcomes that appear at least about 1 in 6 times because it's all on a D6 chart or whatever. So, you know, this is where the GM has to adjudicate things like, oh, his arm was torn off. Oh, well, that's on his leg. Well, that's on his arm, so that won't kill him. No, like, you leave him there. The poor guy will. Like, yeah, no rules of proof against malicious players. So the game master has to use those magic words. No, don't be stupid. Yes, so that's why it looks like that. Like, yeah. Also, there's a maximum amount of damage to each thing. So if you're just using your body, just using fists and that, you can do it most. A green wound, blunt weapons is a yellow wound, blades is a red wound, and firearms are required for a black wound. Obviously, you have to use GM adjudication with the, I gave the example. The referee may adjudicate that some circumstances exceed this, e.g. a downed person has his head smashed by a vengeful bash wound with a golf club. Officially, that's a yellow wound, but you know, this will eventually kill him. If he keeps hitting him, then, you know, if the players really want to go there in the game session, it's like, you just fade to black. Yeah, okay, you kill him. All right, yeah. We don't need to see that. So, great old ones can't get away from that stuff, can he? Apparently not. Apparently not, mate. But yeah, that's just because that's the way I did the rules rather than having hit points, or whatever. Because you can have a whole bunch of minor wounds. You will effectively be out. I mean, again, GM adjudication. Okay, he has sprained his right ankle, his left ankle, his right hand, and his left hand. Officially, he's at -1 to all his actions. Oh, yeah, but he sprained each of his limbs. I don't think he's doing anything. Have to use some common sense from the GM there. So yeah, that's the wounding system. Have you got your character, Bill?
I have my character right here, John Matrix.
Mechanic's going, let's start a game. Hint, hint. I invited her. Can you send her the StreamYard link, Bill, please, Bill? And then see if she.
I guess if I have to.
See if she pikes out.
I don't think she supports us on Patreon though, Kyle. I don't know that I can do this. I don't know. Would that be ethical? Can I do that?
I'll make an example.
All right.
An exception.
You're the boss tonight. Let's see. Let me find her here. Anyway, while I'm doing this,
show us your character, Bill. Can you screen share?
Yeah, I can. I only have the one mouse. Give me just a second.
I know it'll be a bit long. I'm not sure if it'll fit on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, we may have to page down multiple. All right, and there's that sent. Okay. Yes. So let me share my character sheet. Now, Kyle, I hope you have a guide. I hope you have a key for this to explain all the various abbreviations and technical data to everyone, because it's an eye bleeder, guys. Whoops. Nope. Add to stage. There we go.
John Matrix has firearms, technician. You need to choose a specialty for the technician, foraging and observation. His nature is charitable. That's it.
Technician, comms, gear.
Yeah. So in this system, skills are binary. You either have the skill or you do not. And having the skill means that you could make a living doing that thing. So technician, comms, gear. If John were out and free, he would be able to make a living repairing people's comms gear. Foraging, he would be able to make a living, picking wild mushrooms or being a survival instructor, that sort of thing. Observation, that's the skill. You know, that bit in one of the Bourne movies where he says, I can tell you the license plate of all the cars outside. I can tell you that guy over there is about 225 and knows how to handle himself. And the best place in this area to look for a gun is the cab of that truck. That's observation skill, where you notice things about places and people. That's the skill that police officers and the more intelligent criminals and spies and so on will have. Firearms is not merely a skill of hitting things on the firing range. Again, all these things, except technician, all these things you'd be able to do at level 0. Having the +1 means you could do them as a profession. Now, having the +1 doesn't sound like much. Having +1 doesn't sound like much. But if you look at the master result table, you notice if someone has a +1 and rolls a 1d6, they can no longer get the no and result. They can't get a critical failure. And the yes and result, the critical success, goes from being 1 time in 6 to being 2 times in 6. A third of the time. The other aspect is there'll be circumstantial bonuses to the use of your skill, and there'll also be quality of equipment. So improvised equipment is -1, basic equipment is 0, and good equipment is +1. Only someone with the skill can get the benefit of good equipment. So the example I like is that myself, I am a qualified first aider. I've done CPR on people multiple times. I've stopped or slowed down severe bleeding from injury and wounds and so on. So in a post-apocalyptic scenario, I would probably be your doctor because, the regular doctors have died of plague in the hospital and that. However, in the real world, stick me in a room full of nurses, I'm the guy who brings them tea and biscuits. Stick me in a trauma ward, I'm the orderly. I'll mop up afterwards. Right?
Yeah.
So I don't have the skill. I do not have, in the yes but role-playing game terms, I do not have the skill. I have the default, the 0 level default. If you give me good equipment, right? So if somebody is bleeding or they've broken a limb or something, and a regular first aid kit, great, I know what to do. You stick me in a trauma ward, it's got a lot more equipment. What's that? That's the machine that goes ping. What do I do with that? I don't know. Just give me a bandage, will you? I can't make use of it because I don't have the skill. Likewise, you could have a really super well-balanced rifle or something that gives you a +1. The skilled rifleman will be able to make use of that, and they'll get the +1. The person who's using a rifle at the default will not have it. We'll just be using it at +0. They don't know how to make use of the better features of that thing. So the firearm skill won't just be plinging targets on a range. It'll be knowing fire and movement and room clearing drills and so on, working as part of a team and so on and so forth. Connect if you want in. Look at your private messages from Bill and click on the link.
If you wish to join us, look at your privates. I think that's what we're saying here.
Yeah, so that's what it means to have the skill. So Bill's character has got firearm skill, technician, observation, and foraging. That came about through random rolls. You get 1 brains, 1 brawn, 1 soul skill. And then you get extra skills depending on the size of your team. So if you're on your own, you get an extra 3 skills because you're going to have to cover a lot because you're on your own. You're the lone hero type. There's a pair of you get an extra 2, and if you're in a team 1+, you get an extra 1. So it's scaled by the size of the group. All right. Well, if Kanek wakes up, then she can join us later.
All right.
Anyway, so as I said before, the layout. The world has been turning to crap. It's a slow apocalypse, a slow collapse. Your country, the mythical Union or Republic or whatever, your country has had several years of a bad recession, things slowly turning worse and falling apart. Then there was an epidemic, which took a lot of people out and disrupted a lot of systems. And then there was a war as well. However, for the last 3 years, you have not been part of that. You were taken into custody by the police at some point for something that you either did or didn't do. That's up to you. A major or a minor crime, that's up to you. However, part of the collapse of the systems meant that when you were set aside to await trial, the trial has not happened 3 years later. So you've still been waiting and been moved around from prison to prison because many of the prisons got shut down.
Thank you for the super doc. Is this a gamer documentary?
I'm visiting from the future, and I'm telling you what's going to happen.
The future being sometime in July.
All right, and yeah, Kanek claims that she's in the green room. So
I saw that she's not.
I think she just uses her phone based, her Nokia 370 or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you've missed out. You've been delayed in prison for ages. You didn't have the money to pay for bail, and nobody close to you had it either, or nobody was close to you. So you've been stuck in the clink for 3 years, and over those 3 years, more and more prisoners have been released. As they bribe the guards or bribe the system to get their way out. And it got smaller and smaller population. And then one day, the lights go out.
That's probably not
They haven't come and unlocked you in the morning as they usually do and taken you out to the mess and that. But one day the lights go out. And all the electronic locks go off. There's a flicker of lights, and then there's a hum and a clunk. And your door you hear click, and you know that your door is unlocked. You're alone in your cell. They took Bubba away a week ago, and you weren't sad to see him go. But yeah, it's gone clunk. The lights are out. It's about 7 in the morning.
Okay. Well, this is new, and by new I mean horrible.
So you're in your cold cell. The heating hasn't been on for 6 months. You're in your cold cell, in your orange trousers, white singlet, an orange shirt, and your little slippers. Your cell has got a toilet without a lid. It has a little wash basin, and it has a double bunk with sheets and blankets and pillows. And you have a few small sundries like toothbrush and so on.
Okay. Is there a hand mirror in the shaving kit?
No, they don't give you glass for some reason.
Well, I thought it might be plastic or steel, but I get it. I get it.
No, there are steel mirrors in the bathroom areas.
Okay. I will approach the cell door and yell out, "Hey, anybody on the block?" Is there a response?
Your voice echoes down the empty corridor, and you think you hear an answering murmur or call from some distance. when you put your hand on the door to lean out, or hand on the bars to lean out and listen, it's loose. It'll open.
Ah, okay. All right. Um, I'll push it open and I'll call out, keep yelling. I'm coming to where you're at.
All right.
And by
You open up the
feeling
door, it comes open, and nobody is out there. So you're on the ground floor, and it just opens up into the mess area where there's plastic tables, plastic chairs, a TV behind a wire screen. The TV is off, all the lights are off.
Okay. I will call out again. Keep yelling.
You don't hear a response.
All right. So I'm in the day room right now, correct?
The D6. Yes, the day room.
All right.
The day room has a door with a with glass that's got wire through it, and it opens up into the yard, which is a concrete yard, and it's got some gym equipment in it. You don't see anyone out there either.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not seeing you in the ready room, in the green room. Sorry. I reboot maybe. Oh. Okay. Now I know this door only opens when I hear a loud buzz.
Yes.
But given that all the power's out,
there was no buzz. There was a flicker of all the lights.
Okay.
And the hum that you've heard. You realize now that there was a constant hum in the background for the last 3 years. You'd noticed it for the first month or two, but you stopped noticing it. You tuned it out, and you realize that hum has now stopped.
All right. I'm gonna put my hand on that doorknob, and I'm gonna say at the top of my lungs, one man walking out. I got my hands up because I don't want to get shot by some twitchy guard if he's still staying behind and thinks it's his duty to make sure all the prisoners stay put. So I'm just going to ease the door open, put my hands out the opening, and slowly shuffle out there.
Yep. There's nobody there, and nobody hassles you in any way.
Okay, I'm going to look in the inevitable guard booth to the left or to the right, wherever it is.
It's to your right. So like I said, there's an open day area with plastic tables and chairs, and the TV behind the wire screen and that. And then there's a little guard area. They've got that wired glass.
Right.
Sorry, the guard area. Yeah, they've got that wired glass, and they've got the computer and the microphone and everything.
Okay.
And you glance over, you can't see anyone in that area, but the light is a bit poor because, as I said, all the fluorescent lights are off, and that area, it's wired glass, and it's within the building or whatever. So the light there is poor. You'd have to approach it to be able to see for sure.
Okay. I'm going to walk in there, and I'm looking for very specific things. I assume this might have been something my character would have noticed, but I don't want to presume too much. Like, I draw my longsword, the one that I always have. So if this is not, if you're like, no, they don't have that bill, that's fine. Is there a dock for walkie-talkies to sit in and charge? Okay. I am going to go to that. Are there any walkie-talkies docked in it?
There's walkie-talkies sitting there in the charging spot. It's sitting on the kind of the outside wall of the guard area.
Okay.
When you approach that, you see there's a walkie-talkie sitting there, but you also see that the guard area the door is open. The air is in some disarray, and there's a guard lying there on the floor.
Okay.
And judging by the dark smear around him, he is not alive, or at least not conscious.
Okay. Geez. Okay. I will.
The door is open, like it's half.
Right. Open. Right. Has he got a firearm?
You can't see because, like I said, you're just peering through the wired glass.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, all you can step around and walk in if you want. Nothing.
That's okay. Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Nothing except the rules prevent you.
All right. I will step around into the guard station then.
You step in there, and there's one of the guards that you knew. His name was Alonzo, and he is very much deceased. Somebody has shivved him repeatedly in the body and neck.
Okay.
He's very much deceased. The handgun holster he had, the handgun is missing from that. The holster's open.
I thought it would be.
And the baton is missing from that. You can see that he still has a bunch of zip ties on him.
I'll grab the zip ties.
Hanging off his belt.
Does he have pepper spray?
No. Okay. Somebody's taken that too. That space is used. The computer in front of him is off. You can tell the lights are still off.
Sure. I'm gonna.
In here is also like filing cabinets. You know that they will have the records of the prisoners, so that when new guards come, they can read over them, or when someone's being discharged or whatever, they can look over them. There'll be the records of the prisoners in here. On the wall is a red box with a white cross on it, so that'll be the first aid kit. That's closed.
Okay. All right.
The snacks.
I'm going to.
Well, you haven't searched his body. You've just looked.
No, that's okay. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna gently roll him over. Was he face up or face down?
He's face up. Yeah.
Face up. Okay.
He's a Q. They're either O or Q. Is that? Or
right. He's a Q. I'm gonna gently roll him over onto his side and remove his wallet.
Yep.
Family photos, license, other kind of ID.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to take.
He looks nothing like you, but yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fine. That's not why I'm doing this. I'll take the personal stuff. I'll leave any credit cards. Does he have any cash on him?
Yes.
All right. I will take the cash. I ask Alonzo's spirit for forgiveness, and what kind of footwear has he got on? I'm guessing like I need to be standing up or able to run in my job kind of professional footwear.
Yeah, he's got boots.
All right.
He's got combat boots. They're very well shiny.
Okay. Any chance Alonzo and I are the same size?
They are small for you. That would be a very big squeeze.
Okay. I say quietly, I hold his ID and his cash in my hand and his family pictures, and I say, Alonzo, you didn't treat me like shit, man, and you could have. I'm not taking this to steal from you, buddy. If your family's still there and if this is any good, I'll get it to them. Go easy. And with that, I'm going to pull the first aid kit off the wall and take that with me.
Okay, yeah. So it's a little cabinet, and you open it up, and inside the cabinet is a regular kind of first aid kit. So it's got, if you want to write down what you've got.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's got 2 trauma bandages, It's got a little pack of Band-Aids. It's got some alcohol wash, like wound wash type stuff. Don't drink it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can if you want, but yeah. Yeah, it's got some alcohol wound wash. It's got, cotton swabs. It's got some paracetamol. It's got a CPR mask. So you don't have to patch the person that you're
right. Has it got like a big tube of Neosporin, I'm guessing?
No, it's got
antibiotic cream, I guess.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It's just got that ethanol wash. And there's also a thing of Narcan as well.
That makes perfect sense. All right. So bandages, Band-Aids, bottle of isopropyl, cotton swabs, paracetamol.
You could just write first aid kit.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I just making sure I got it.
Yeah, we're not going to fuss over, but you don't have a Band-Aid. You just have a larger bandage. So you just have to bleed out from that little finger, or when you're using that hand, it's going to be really inhibited because you've got a huge cloth. No, I'm not worried about such things.
Okay. Next up, now, being a technician comms guy, I know a little bit about battery life, especially on stuff that's going to be carried around for an entire shift. Even if the electricity mains is out, I will pick up one of the walkie-talkies, click it on. I'm sorry?
It's dead. It's completely dead.
Oh, no charge. Damn.
It's not. You don't think that it's no charge. You just think that it's dead. It's been fried.
Oh, damn. Okay. I'm gonna grab a couple anyway, and I don't know. I'll just carry them along with me. I'll empty out the little trash bin there and use that bag as a tote for the time being. But I get some daylight, maybe I can find a popped fuse or
you can use a trash bag,
resistor or something I can or two I can replace in there and cobble together a working one. So I'm going to grab a couple of those. I'm going to rifle the desk for stuff like paper clips, a staple remover, scissors, even if they're the blunt end ones, things like that. Stuff that I could do crude repair work with.
You'll find some things like that, I would imagine, unless they've been souvenired already. No, you find them.
Okay.
So you could just write down improvised toolkit -1.
All right, improvised toolkit -1. And last but not least, Alonzo or anybody else have a sack lunch in here?
If he did, it's gone.
Okay. No Snickers in the desk. No pack of Smarties or anything like that.
You find a paper bag with a little bit of sugar in it. He must have been having some donuts. The sugar's left over.
Yeah.
A few of the hundreds and thousands of sprinkles. A few of them left in the paper bag that's sitting in the tray.
Okay. How about a bottle of water in the desk?
No.
Or even in the trash can, an empty bottle to carry water in.
No, if you had one, that's gone.
Okay. All right. I am now going to make my way to the commissary. Just kind of feeling my way along. Periodically, like if I come to a point where there's a panopticon again, maybe there's still guards in this place that think they have to do their duty for the county. I will announce myself before entering into that space until
if there are any guards, there won't be many because, as I said, over the last 3 years, the staffing of the place has dropped right down, and people have been gradually released. They've kind of bribed their way out. You know it wasn't legit because they boasted about it to you. I know a guy who's going to blah, blah, blah. And so it's just gradually been run down. You doubt there were more than half a dozen guards in the whole facility of hundreds, and that's why everyone kept being locked in their cells all the time and stuff.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Just making
probably
my
not
way.
more than 100 prisoners left in the last week or so, to your knowledge, and not more than half a dozen guards. It was really understaffed and underfilled.
Okay. I will, like I said, I'll make my way to the commissary.
Okay. So you're passing all these other cells. Are you going to peer into any of the cells?
Yeah, I'll check out a cell. I mean, I prisoners hoard stuff. Prisoners have stashes. That's just kind of the way of jail. So, if I pass a cell of anyone I know who was a who that prisoner who could always get you something, somebody who always had some kind of deal going on, I'll stop at their cell and I will ransack it.
Yeah. Okay. So you go to that guy's cell, Morgan, and you find that Morgan is dead, shivved to death in his bed, and his place has already been ransacked. Evidently, you weren't the first one to have that idea. Right. There was someone more vicious got there first.
Okay. All right. Then on to the commissary.
All right. So this is where you leave the day area proper. There's a door that is normally locked and has the wire glass and so on. So you approach that door and it's unlocked. There's another door beyond. It's a sort of an airlock kind of thing, because they would have just one or two prisoners in there with one or two guards.
Yeah, it's
goes through stages.
Man trap. Yeah, I get you. All right. I'll head in.
Okay. So you open that up, and that's completely clear. It's just, as I said, it's a man trap area. There's nothing in here except a fire extinguisher, and then another door.
How heavy is that extinguisher?
It's one of those smaller ones.
I'll take it.
Okay. Is John Matrix wearing Crocs? No, he's wearing those little slippers that they give them.
Yeah, and I have I've seen those slippers. I need to find shoes fast.
All right. Yep. So you open up the second door, and then you go down the corridor. To the right is the commissary. To the left, you know that there's the office of a social worker. You never got to see her, but you knew of her, social worker Pan. And there's another office of the floor warden, not the chief warden, but the warden for the floor. And then there's a commissary opposite. And the commissary opens up into sort of a waiting area kind of place. Yeah. And then there's a counter, and they've got one of those, the shutters that's sort of like wires, like it's a roller door, but it's like a grid.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
Yeah.
That's been pried open. It was evidently locked, and somebody pried it open. You can see it, it's torn out of the wood and so on. And behind that, it's been completely trashed. Someone has. You'd have to climb over the counter to have a look and see. But
I will do that. Again, I am looking for anything at this point.
Well, your character hasn't eaten for 3 days. So
yeah, exactly.
I can tell you some other stats you've got. So there's 3 stats that model what happened to you apart from wounds. There's hunger, fatigue, and distress.
Okay.
So hunger you will accumulate at the rate of 1 a day in normal adventuring, but that's not like sitting around cell like Gandhi. That's more like 1 a week. It's 1 a day when you're like marching out across wilderness with your armor on and all that sort of stuff. So hunger is 1 a day. You've got 1 hunger at the moment. You haven't eaten for 3 days, but because you were just sitting around in your cell, it's equivalent to 1 day of activity. And then there's fatigue. You get 1 fatigue if you're marching all day, and you also get 1 fatigue if you miss a night's sleep. And there's also a stat called distress, which you get from seeing your friends killed. If you're in a combat and you do not have a combat skill or physician skill, you accumulate distress each time. You just the person who's had combat skill can sort of rationalize it all, but the person without it is just they get a bit distressed. When you accumulate 6 in it, so each one is a malus to your activity. So hunger is a malus to all brawn skills, fatigue is a malus to all brains skills, and distress is a malus to all soul skills. So it's all social skills.
Okay.
When you accumulate 6 of them, you are non-functional in any way. So that's like 6 weeks without food if you're doing nothing, or 6 days without food if you're doing hard marching or whatever. Or it's like 6 nights without sleep, you'll be non-functional. And also 6 instances of great distress. So if you do 6 combats in a row without a break and you have no combat skills, or if you see 6 of your friends murdered in front of you in turn, or 6 times you meet Cthulhu, that's it, you're gone. You have some sort of permanent effect as a result of that. You're not dead, but you have some sort of permanent effect.
Right. Right.
At the moment, you've just got hunger 1, fatigue 1, and distress 1. Because you haven't eaten for 3 days, you had a poor sleep because you've been having poor sleeps because it's been cold, and you don't know what the hell's going on, and you've just you've seen a couple of dead bodies now, or whatever. So you've distressed 1.
Okay. All right. I am searching every pack of peanut butter crackers that got kicked under the counter 6 months ago and nobody noticed it. So
you search around. There's people have there's lots of empty packets. So whoever looted this place had a feast on the spot.
Okay.
Decided they weren't going to take the box of 30 chips or whatever, crisps. They just ate them on the spot. So there's lots of empty packets. So it takes you a bit of searching. There is a search skill, by the way.
I have foraging. Would that
help? Yeah, that's good out in the wild. Searching is for urban areas, and there's scrounging as well. Scrounging to find stuff. Searching is to find interesting and useful stuff. Anyway, so the search is like, I know the best place to find a firearm and that sort of thing. So so you rummage through it all and you find a day's worth of junk food, essentially.
That's fine. A container for
chips and
water,
chocolate, and a Coke and that sort of thing. You find a day's worth.
Great, excellent.
You also find some items of underwear and toiletries.
Awesome. I am making a note here. Did you say I did find a bottle to put some water in?
No, there's a can of Coke.
All right, can of Coke. Well,
on the hand, they would give them plastic bottles in prison. Yeah, so there's a plastic bottle of Coke.
That's great. It'll hold water when the Coke's done.
Yeah, I don't think they would give them cans. Anything which can become sharp is.
Which unfortunately also covers plastic Coke bottles, but you got to, at some point, you have to say, it's this, or just hold your hands out and sip from them.
Well, there was apparently one guy who ended up making a shiv out of toilet paper. He just repeatedly wet it and let it dry out, and wet it and let it dry out, and so on. And it was only good for one blow, but
Frank, I can't remember his last name. One of the might have been one of the Anglins. I'm not sure, but one of the guys that when they escaped from Alcatraz, they made cement out of just dirt that they would gather up, toothpaste, and toilet paper. When they broke out of their cells and made fake wall sections to conceal their breakout, they made those out of a cement that they made out of.
They didn't have a poster of Rita Hayworth then.
They did not have a poster of Rita Hayworth. So, all right. So I will gather all that up, and then I will go to the social worker's office.
Okay. So you go into her office. She's not there. Nobody else is there. There's a desk, a computer, a whole bunch of files, and so on.
I will add to my improvised toolkit, and while I'm in there, I will sit in the presumably comfortable office chair and consume half of my rations. Basically, I'll drink half the Coke, and I will.
But if you scarf them all down, you'll have a full belly, but you'll get rid of all your hunger.
You know what? I'll go ahead and eat now. Best place for energy is in the body.
Eat while you can. All right. So you're now down to hunger 0, but fatigue 1 and distress 1. You're still not happy and you're still tired. You're just not hungry anymore.
All right. Does she have a bathroom adjacent to her office?
No.
All right.
No, she doesn't.
That's my next goal then.
She just had an office, but you rummage through her drawers, and aside from the usual stationery and so on, you find she had a taser.
I will take that taser.
You look at it, you check the power, and it's dead.
I will take it anyway.
Okay.
I will take it anyway. So
her phone is dead too, by the way. She has a landline. That's dead.
Okay.
There's no, it's got the little display, the little gray text display, and that's dead.
Yeah.
It's very dim in here, by the way.
Yeah, that's fine. I am going.
There's skylights in the corridor, and so you're just getting a bit of light from that.
All right, I am going to. I'm going to find a bathroom.
Okay, that's just adjacent. There's one just adjacent to the commissary.
Okay, hopefully there's
and this is a staff bathroom, but it's just a regular it's not a restroom. It's not a changing room. It's just a
no. That's fine. Hopefully there is some pressure left in the lines. I'm going to take my Coke bottle, now canteen, and see if I can get some water out of the taps into it.
Yep, water comes out. Must be gravity.
Oh. Yeah, thank God. I will fill up the bottle and then I will drink my fill. I will bathe in the sinks. I will I will.
Oh, there's oh no, there won't be showers. There'll be the locker rooms. Sorry.
Yeah, no,
that's the main thing.
Yeah,
you can see yourself in the mirror. There's real glass here.
Oh, excellent.
This is for staff, not for prisoners.
Excellent. Yeah, you know what? Is there liquid soap dispensers or powder soap dispensers or something?
Yep.
I will grab one of those. I will remove it from the, if it's like a packet inside a dispenser, I will pull open the dispenser and take the packet with me.
Yep. You pop that into your trash bag.
All right.
You're like an adventurer with his sack.
Hey, man, you never know. So, plastic bottle of water. And I will make my way along. Is there a family visiting room?
Okay, there is, but it's actually in the other direction. Where you're going now is more towards the administration area. You're going towards the central area. Though administration does have an exit right out onto the street. That way the staff, when they knock off, they don't have to go all the way through the prisoners to go out to the car park and leave.
Okay.
So the prison's got wings. It's got 3 main wings, and then with admin in the middle, and the admin goes right out. So you're heading up along one wing towards the admin area.
All right. Well, let's see if there's a break room in the admin area I can raid now.
Okay, so you go along the corridor, and there's another one of the doors with the wired glass that's normally both electronically and physically shut. This has been opened. Evidently, somebody took the keys off Alonzo or someone else and opened them. They didn't bother. Then lock the door behind them. Very inconsiderate of them. And that opens up. And this, let me think. Yeah, this will be the family area, family meetup
Okay.
area in there. And then to your left is the processing for the visitors and the prisoners and the family area to your left, and then ultimately the exit. And then to your right is that'll be the admin area. That'll be where the wardens have their lunch, and the correctional officers have their lunch, and where they have their locker rooms, and where the chief warden's office is, and that sort of thing.
Okay. Now the family visiting area.
And to your front is another wing of the prison.
Okay. The family visiting area, vending machines there.
Yes.
Okay.
These have been smashed open, and there's stuff scattered everywhere. You have a search through, and you don't find any food, but you do find some bottled water.
Excellent. How many bottles of water?
3.
3. All right. So I now have 4 water. All right. Okay. I guess then on to the administration area, deeper in still.
All right. So you go right and into the admin area. So there's a little reception area where the guards would be watching over the family meetups and stuff. There's a little area there that has a defunct computer, a lot of files. It has what was formerly a locked cage, which has some riot gear in it, just in case a riot starts in the family area.
Well,
it formerly had. It doesn't have it anymore.
Damn it. Okay.
Doesn't have it anymore. Now, beyond that area, you go down a corridor, and then there's what's obviously a break room on the left, and what's the locker room, which also has showers and so on, for the correction officers on your right.
Okay. Break room ransacked, I'm guessing, right?
It looks like it, yeah. You glance in and it looks pretty ransacked.
Okay. I'll make a quick sweep. Anything.
Well, what are you looking for in particular?
Snacks, portable food. Maybe somebody skipped or didn't want to take a microwave ramen cup with them or something.
Yeah, in the fridge you find 2 TV dinners, vegan. Nobody wanted them apparently.
How long has the power been out? Are they even a little bit?
Well, the power's been out since this morning.
Oh, okay. So
it's still cool. The fridge is still cool. It's not refrigerated, but it's cool.
I will leave those in there for now, but I will come back for them. I will close it back, and I will go over to the shower area. And I know it'll probably be cold, but I will take a quick shower. It's been 3 days. I deserve.
You can take a quick shower, yeah. And yeah, it is indeed freezing cold.
That's fine. It wakes me up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Now I will, once done, I will, using a little bit of my soap as my shower gel, and shampoo, I will go back. I will get dressed. I will go back over to the break room, and I will feast on those damn TV dinners because I know they won't keep.
Yeah, you find a little post-it note on it with it says, "For Hector, this will help you lose weight. Love." And then it's obviously his wife has.
Sorry, Hector.
Some correctional officer's wife has given him vegan dinners to help him lose weight.
Please tell me that I can find.
And they were left in there, so he must have got himself something else.
Please tell me that I can find like some packets of seasoning, hot sauce, something like that.
Yeah. There's salt and pepper, and yeah, there's like this bottle of Tabasco.
All right. Yeah, I will. I mean, I know they're probably cold and not very appetizing, but again, they won't keep. I might as well eat them.
So you scarf them down. You're disgustingly full of junk food and 2 TV vegan dinners.
There you go. Stomach full of tofu and corn syrup.
And while you're sitting there feeling sleepy and contemplative, you remember, oh yeah, there were lockers in that room too.
Yeah.
Not in your current room, but where you had the shower.
Right. So after I've eaten, time to go shopping. So I'm guessing these are any utensils I find plastic. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. But I've also been in the joint for a while. I'm going to take a couple plastic knives with me. And let's go check out the lockers.
Okay. So you check out the lockers. There are 12 of them. And there are 12 of them. 9 of them are open. 3 of them are still locked. A couple of them being prized open. In there, all right. So you find some normal civilian clothes.
Great.
Which are, will fit you passably. And not a pair of boots, but a pair of runners.
That'll work.
Yeah. So it's just like, jeans and flannel shirt and that.
Yeah, I will get dressed. Good night, Kaku. Thank you for hanging out with us this evening. Be well. All right. I will.
So it's mostly clothes there. It's people's mobile phones, which are totally dead.
Right.
There's a couple of wallets in there as well. And there are 3 locked ones. There's also a couple of small, like, day pack kind of thing. Obviously, people, brought their change of clothes, their work clothes or whatever in the day.
Oh yeah, I'll grab one of those and transfer all my goodies into that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So any phones.
Watchers can know the way encumbrance works is so you got one encumbrance. So like a firearm is an encumbrance, a bulletproof vest is an encumbrance, and so on. A day pack is an encumbrance. And encumbrance caps out the results for physical things. So, for example, if you've got one encumbrance, you're just carrying a day pack and otherwise wearing clothes, you've got one encumbrance, you cannot get the yes and result for things like athletics. So it doesn't inhibit you at all in combat or in observation or anything like that, but it does inhibit you when you're doing physical stuff like athletics and climbing and strength and endurance and so on. It doesn't give you a -1 or -2 or whatever. It just stops you getting the top result.
All right.
You can't really do a triple somersault backflip while you're wearing a backpack. You can try, but you can't do it. So yeah, it stops you getting the top results. Now, the advantage of having the bag is that you can shove it all in one place, and the bag has 4 slots, and they're internal slots. So it only counts as one encumbrance once you've got the bag. So it's better to have things in a bag than to have like a water bottle and a firearm and this and that, blah, blah, blah. It's better just to shove them in a bag. It doesn't encumber you as much. And I know there'll be some player out there who will go, oh, can I just like put a backpack in a backpack in a backpack and get infinite encumbrance? No.
No, that's not how that works. All right, Kyle, this is going to sound a little unusual, but any mobile phones that have user removable batteries, I will take all those batteries, because EMP or no, that's not going to impact the batteries.
Mm-hmm.
So I will take any of the batteries.
Well, I mean, all phones have user removable batteries if you just drop them. So
right, I'm talking about a back panel that's designed to come off and
yeah, you find 3.
All right, so 3 Li-ion batteries. Okay, now about those locked lockers.
Yeah. Now they've just got a simple little key lock. That's all it is.
Okay. Well, I'm
Just,
going
you
to
know,
try and break or otherwise force
one of
open.
those small keys. Not a big one, but it's just a small key.
Okay. I'm gonna get one of the paper clips I have and try a rake pick. Just see if I can pop
We'll
the
try
towers.
intrusion skill at default. So you can roll a 1d6.
All right, let's.
And you're using improvised stuff, so you get a -1.
All right, so I don't. Hey, give me just a second, Kyle. And there we go. Here we are. Hey, I got a 4.
Okay, that becomes a 3. So you're going
Oh
to.
no, I'm sorry. I got a 5. I got a total of 5.
Okay, yeah. So that becomes a 4. So the result is yes, but. So yes, you unlock it, but the thing that you're using is now stuck in there.
I have an entire ditty bag of paper clips. What's in the locker?
That's right. Well, there might be times that you just have one, and so okay, which locker am I going to unlock? All right. So you unlock the first locker. Inside here, roll 1d6.
And here's a 4.
Inception backpacks. All right. So inside here, you find some regular clothes. Yeah, you just find your regular clothes. You find something useful, but not more than what you've already got.
Okay, that's fine. If it fits me, I will grab the shirt. I will stuff it in the bag that I've got.
Yep.
All right. And you said there were 3 locked lockers?
Yeah, so there's 2 more.
All right. So here's the next one. Another rake attack with another paper clip. That is a total of 3.
3. No, but. All right. So no, you do not unlock it, but you can have another go.
All right. A 6.
Okay, so yes, click. It opens up. All right. So now roll for your luck in the contents of the thing.
A 2.
Okay. This one's empty. You don't know why they locked an empty locker, but somebody did.
The screws, man. The screws. All right. Last one. Let's see. I got a 5, so 4. Yes, but.
Okay. Yep. So you open it up, and the contents.
Come on, give me something good. Oh, a 5.
Okay. So you open it up, and there's Playboy centerfold on the inside of the door. Which first thing you notice, it's been 3 years, man. So
carefully unfolding that and sliding that into my bag.
I'll need that later. Oh yeah, same reason you put empty milk jugs back in the fridge. Says
yes.
Wave. All right. Yeah. So you're rummaging around inside this thing. You find a heavy, like a winter coat.
All right.
Find a heavy winter coat. You find some boots.
Okay.
And to your surprise, because this is totally against regulations and blah, 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 there's a firearm on top of the locker. You were so busy rummaging through the locker on top of this very locker. So somebody's obviously like, okay, I've got to lock that up. I've got to put that away. I just put it up there for the moment. And he's locked the locker and then walked away. So there's a handgun.
I will check it. Loaded?
Okay. It is a Glock and it has a magazine. And as far as you can tell, it's working.
Okay. All right. Well, since it's cold, since it's obviously winter, we are going to put that in the coat pocket and slip the coat on.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, not doing too bad. I had, granted, I had my dessert first, but I've had a meal fit for a king. I'm clean. I have a change of clothes. I have a little bit of cash. I have a weapon. I can't complain right now.
All right. So
All
is
right.
your intention to leave, or is your intention to explore the prison further?
My intention is to let's see. Well, we got about 15 minutes. Why don't I just clean this place out as best I can?
What, the admin area, you mean?
Uh, well, I mean, if there's places in the admin area I haven't been, then absolutely.
Yeah. So further down the corridor is the chief CO, and then the administrator of the prison, the warden,
Okay.
or their officers anyway.
All
Yeah,
righty.
and a
Well,
moody picture says wave. Don't forget that on the inventory. All right. So you go down the corridor, and there's the chief correctional officer office. They've got that same kind of wire door. They must have just bought them in bulk or something. But like the wire glass door in the top half. And you open that up, and this is apparently unlooted. Okay? You go through it. There's no firearms or anything, but you go through it, and this guy. So remember how I said people were bribing their way out of prison? It seems like he got most of the bribes, the chief correctional officer. So in this room, you've got like a couple of boxes of Cuban cigars.
okay.
You've got a case of liquor, case of whiskey.
Oh, nice.
There's a lock box, and
Okay.
given time, you'll unlock it, and it doesn't matter anyway. There's bundles of cash in the lockbox.
Well, they'll work as either kindling or as bribery, depending on the situation. So that's coming with me.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be a briefcase in here, would there?
No.
Okay.
You saw the chief warden once. Just think like Bellick from Prison Break.
Have not seen Prison Break, but I okay.
Yeah, this shaven-headed guy with a neck thicker than his head, and yeah, not too bright.
All right, I'm going to dash back over to the shower.
The only difference in character between him and the people in prison was which side of the glass they were on. That's all.
I'm gonna dash back over to the locker room area and get another one of the totes, and I'm gonna throw some using socks and clothes that won't fit me, and towels, whatever, to pad it. I will grab a few bottles of liquor, and the cigars, and those will go with me, along with the cash.
Okay.
Anything else good?
Yeah, that's about it in the office, apart from normal office sundries.
Okay.
Files and a non-working laptop computer and stuff. No, not a desktop computer.
More paper clips too. I'm taking more. You're not catching me out, Kyle. You're not gonna. Well, Bill, I'm sorry. I only have the one paper clip. No. Every paper clip. I played enough Fallout to know you pick up all the bobby pins.
The raider steals all your bobby pins.
Ah! I shoot the raider in the ass. All right. Well, this day just keeps getting better and better. Any fully intact Playboy magazines?
No.
Well, I had the centerfold.
Warden Chief Bellick used the internet for that.
I see.
He had enough savvy to use the internet. All right. There's the warden's office as well, and the warden's office just has a hell of a lot of paperwork, and it has a massive steel safe. Combination and key.
Combination and key.
This is where you wish that you'd gone to prison for safe cracking.
Yeah, well. I mean, is there even remotely a chance I could open this thing realistically?
No.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. All right. Well, I mean,
you have a gun, so now you just need the warden, and then you could open it.
Yeah. Hey, buddy, you ever seen Shawshank Redemption? Come here, fat man. All right, so I will pack as much stuff as I can, and now I'm gonna make my way to the exit.
Okay, there's another 2 wings of the prison, remember?
Oh, let's.
So the question is, do you want to meet other convicts and venture out into the world with them?
Knowing what I know about cons, no, I do not. No, sir, I do not. I would. I'll take
solidarity among the.
Solidarity ends where solitary begins. So,
okay.
I mean, so if my cell was unlocked, their cells are unlocked. They'll be fine. I'm leaving.
All right. So you go through the family meeting room. You then go through a processing area where the families would be checked for contraband, blah, blah, blah.
Anything in the contraband confiscation area?
No, this place has been totally looted. Obviously,
Gotcha.
There's about half a dozen people who went through before you.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely nothing here. Nothing in the contraband area. Then you go through the original prisoner processing area, which has an awful lot of records and so on, and it has a hard grill. This place has been locked up, and you see a little bit of bent on the grill and so on. It looks like, so this is where like your possessions will be, your original possessions.
Right.
Anything that wasn't like part of the court case and state's evidence would be here. You know, if you originally came with your Blues Brothers suit or whatever, it will be here. And people have tried to pry this open, but it's got, you know, the sort of the wire grating and everything, not just glass, but the wire grating, and then it's got a locked door and everything.
You know what? Just real quick, I'll try. I'm feeling lucky. I'll try the locked door.
Yeah, it's locked.
Okay, well, I mean, you know, I'll try and pick it. Like I said, I'm feeling lucky. I got a 5.
No, it's not good enough. It's too good a lock, and
I understand.
And the thing has been bent a little bit where somebody's like physically tried to.
Sure. All right, then I'm out of here.
All right, you go out into a wider lobby area, and there was a reception here previously, and yeah, there's glass doors, and outside you see that there's a light speckle of snow outside. It's about noon now. You don't have a watch, but it's about noon.
Okay, I will.
It's just there's the sun shining white through all those through that, you know, not the snow, but you know what I mean, the clouds, how it looks in the sky.
Yeah, I will reach into my coat, make sure that the gun is where I can get it fairly easily, and I will walk out into the open.
Okay. You go up to the door and go to open the door, and the credits roll. All
right. Well, that is intense. I like it. Glass doors in a prison? Yes, Connect. There is a point at which you get in the outer facility where it is somewhat normalized, where they don't assume prisoners are going to be. And this is it. So
I can't believe you didn't listen to other prisoners.
Yep. All right. That is very intense, Kyle. I like it. I liked how quickly things went. I love the scenario you're laying down. I can't wait to see where this goes. You'll be with us next week, right?
Yes.
Excellent. Excellent. So again, now Kyle, I'm guessing the sign up sheet is still out, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Snow, but what month? What is asking the right question? Snow, but what month?
Yeah, exactly. Wait a minute. Let's say it was June.
It's Florida in June. It's snowing.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, we did have 10 inches of snow on the ground here over the winter, but it was for like 2 days in the Panhandle and December, like late December. So,
no, he is in an indeterminate country with an indeterminate, indeterminate country, indeterminate part of it, somewhere inland, and it is indeed winter. Yes.
All right. Jorge asks, Kyle, have you made the game available somewhere? It's, I think you have the working draft on the Discord, do you not?
Yes, I do.
Okay. All right. So Jorge, I know you're on the Discord, so you can hop over there and grab that. Anybody else who's interested, just hit Kyle up. The sign up sheet is out. Kyle's rules. Support us on Patreon. Let me put the. Have I not had the banner going on? I have not had the. You can support us on Patreon for $1. You can support us over here. You guys can't see where I'm pointing because I'm in postage stamp mode, but maybe you're watching me on a 72-inch TV and I'm like normal sized. But
I've just now posted the link in the off-topic channel of the Delver Discord.
Yes. So anyone who's interested in joining this fun on Wednesday night and finding out if you and a D6 are all it takes to survive the post-apocalypse, please reach out to Kyle and we'll get things rolling. And
it might take a couple of days to generate your character.
Allocate some time. Make sure you've got a backstory. Have a graphing calculator, but Kyle.
No, it takes 4 dice rolls and then 1 to 3 choices. Yeah. 2 to 4 choices, because you roll for 1 brawn skill, 1 brain skill, 1 soul skill, and then you'll get 1 to 3 other skills. In this case, you'll just get one other skill. So you just have to do 3 dice rolls and then choose 1 skill, and then you make a die roll for your nature, based on the 6 of the 7 classical virtues and vices: patience, wrath, lust, chastity, blah, blah, blah. And then you roll 1d6 for which pairing, and then you choose between one of each pair. I'm not going to make you act patient if you actually want to be wrathful, and vice versa. But you just roll for it, and then you go. And in a general game, if you have the skill, then you have basic equipment for that skill. The person who has drive has a car or motorcycle. The person who has firearms has some sort of firearm. The person who has technician has a technician's kit or whatever. That's the basic thing. In this scenario, you start with nothing and you just find it. And that's it. That's it for character generation. It takes literally 5 minutes. So the worst would be if you were trying to choose equipment, but you don't have any equipment in this case, so easy.
There you go. I mean, this makes OD&D character creation look like World of Cinnabar, so don't know how many trillions of gear you can carry, but at any rate, so Kyle will be here next week. I will be back here tomorrow night. We will be continuing our deep dive of Temple of Elemental Evil, but Kyle, thank you so much for hanging out with us this evening and running another excellent game by you. I'm sure this is going to be a lot of fun, and I hope we get some folks.
It takes 1d6. Oh,
yeah, it takes 1d6. So 1d6 minutes to create a character. Yeah, I rolled a character. No, but your character isn't any good. So do appreciate it. Appreciate you guys out in the audience. Thank you so much, Doc Flamingo, for the super You guys literally helping keep the lights on. Kyle, help yourself to the green room, the pistachios and the Hennessy, because I guess Canuck couldn't jimmy the lock.
I've got some chocolate here in the gym desk.
Woo-hoo! There you go. He made a scavenge roll. All right. All right. I will be back tomorrow, guys. Kyle, we will catch you on the flip side. And until then, everybody, remember to roll a d6 to see how many owl bears you encounter. Peace. Good night. God bless. See you tomorrow.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around. Some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle way off course? Naked as a toad all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.